I still got this thing up here tripping out, man. I thought I brought it down by now. What's going on, y'all? Hope y'all been doing well. I'm back. Man, I done had a crazy week and a half, y'all. I done had a crazy week and a half, but I'm so glad to be back. I'm glad to be back here locking in with y'all. Um, I'm starting back up tonight, going hard, doing streams all weekend. I hope y'all will be ready to rock out. Thank you guys so much for being here. Man, it just really feels special to be able to talk to you guys again. I've had this stream up for like ever. First, I was pushing it back because like my internet was tripping out. Then I got super sick, and I was like, man, I don't want to keep pushing it back and having people wait for it. So I was like, I'm gonna just give it a little bit of time, and I'll try to lock in on Friday, and I'm back. So thank you guys for rocking out. Appreciate y'all. You guys are amazing, and we're gonna have some fun. I'm not trying to keep this too long tonight because still a little dehydrated, but hey, it's all gravy. We here. Thank y'all for being here. We got a few in the chat already. We got the homie Nathan in the chat. We got the wonderful, illustrious Miss Mama Bear, Art Doll. We got the homie Sin Havoc. Thank all you guys for being here. Bad Dan's in here. Appreciate y'all, man. Real talk. Real talk. Um, yo, the creator, man. I saw this movie last week and I really been thinking about it a lot. And I've been waiting to have this conversation with you guys, and I'm glad to be able to be having it here, kind of kicking off my return after I was gone for about a week and a half or whatever. But we back. This movie was dope, yo. I got a lot of thoughts about this film, and I just can't wait to share some of this stuff with you guys tonight. So hope y'all ready. Hope all you guys have seen the movie, right? So because I am going to spoilers, right? But you know, if y'all ain't seen it, you already been warned, and y'all saw it on the thumbnail. And I kept pushing the stream back anyway, so I don't want to hear nothing. But now, yo, we about to lock in, yo. This movie really had a lot kind of going for it, and I think that the first thing that I want to speak about is just one of the big talking points about this movie has been the fact that they've been keeping or they kept the budget relatively low, and it was a pretty modest budget, and it didn't look the part, right? It didn't look the part at all. When I was in the movie theater and I was watching it, it looked just as good as any other blockbuster or whatever that I've seen, right? So I think that the techniques that Gareth Edwards was using for this film, this will be something that, I mean, obviously, I don't think that everybody's going to run out and start trying to do like 80 to $90 million like blockbusters, shooting with these like lower end cameras and stuff like that, or mid range cameras, compared to what uh most sets have been using these last few years. You know, I think that that coupled with the fact that they were adding on a lot of the VFX, just on top of the principal photography, right? And the fact that they were just not using a lot of green screens, but just kind of adding it in post. And I think that there's going to be a somebody, right? Somebody will be inspired by these things, and I do believe that you will be seeing more of this going forward. Um, you know, I kind of likened it to when um, Ang Lee did Gemini Man with the was it the 48 or the 60 frames per second, right? Now, obviously, everybody isn't going to go out and start shooting their big budget action movies in 60 frames per second, obviously, but as we saw with stuff like Avatar too, right? I mean that movie, uh, it being shot in that 60 frames was game changing, right? So as we see these things happen, um, I think Ang Lee kind of shot something else in 60 frames first, if I'm not mistaken. It was that other film with the flag bearers, if I'm not mistaken. It's something like that. But if somebody will correct me in the chat, I'm sure. But yeah, it's just a situation where I really think that this can have some kind of impact. You know, the studios have kind of been ballooning a lot of these budgets these past few years, and a lot of their returns haven't been what they've been looking for, right? I mean, obviously, you know, look no further than stuff like The Flash, right? And, all the other movies that have been bombing and tanking, I almost naturally just started naming some movies that, never mind. But, yeah, this film will show that, hey, you don't have to be putting 150 to $200 million in all these films to get something that looks very quality, right? And that can provide that same level of escapism, right? That we would be getting from a lot of these other films, right? Bad Dan said the Flash deserve is so much more. I agree. I agree. Right. Nathan said he saw it in IMAX. I got a question. When you saw it in IMAX, did it seem like, hey, this looks like a lower quality film, right? Or was it right up there with a lot of the other films, right, that you see in the cinema? Sin Havoc says balloon budgets, watch that money just disappear. It's gone. Right. We were just watching The Dark Knight the other day. Yeah. Nah. This movie was dope, yo. I really wasn't expecting it going in, but I got a lot of like iRobot kind of vibes from this film. In a lot of ways, it kind of felt like a modern day like iRobot. It went in a lot of ways I didn't really expect it to end up going. Right. I mean, yeah, let me talk about what worked. Because when I brought up the modern day iRobot thing, right? I didn't expect him to have the whole like part of him was going to be cybernetic, right? Uh, like I really didn't expect that, and as soon as I saw that early on in the film, it really kind of had me thinking like, yo, this is giving me some iRobot vibes, right? So I think in that aspect, um it did that very well while still creating its own identity, right? Because it felt like iRobot, but the worlds didn't feel similar at all, if that makes sense, right? And I also think that the story in a couple ways um, went a little differently than where I thought that it was going to go as well. Mm. Sin Havoc says most film budgets are because of the actors, guaranteed cash, back end deals, insurance as well. Yeah, right. I'm just saying, like, man, this was this was dope, right? Nathan said, "Don't compare it to Nolan films, but it it did its job, right?" And that's my point. It's not like you're gonna go watch this film and be like, "Oh, all right, it's on the same level as ZSJL and IMAX," right? Like, no, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is, a lot of these other films, you know, the creator can slide right up in there just as easy, right? Mama Bear said, I've heard that iRobot paralleled before. It will probably fit in the Terminator to Matrix story timeline. Yeah, probably. Probably, right? Cause here's what worked for me. I know a lot of people are they're not really convinced by John David Washington. I get it, right? Hold on, let me. Yeah, I know that there are some people that are really not convinced by John David Washington, right? But I like him as an actor. I really liked him in Tenet, right? And you know, I feel like dude be getting a bad rap, right? Um, but I I think that there's just a situation where he has a very large um he has a very large shadow that he kind of has to get from up under. And I get it. I'm not really expecting him to be his dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's only one Denzel, right? There's only one Denzel. But I do honestly believe that he's been um, carving out a nice little career for himself. And I think that he, him in these action roles, I've been enjoying it, Joe. Like, I really think that even just from Tenet, right? I think that he showed a lot of growth in this film, right? And it doesn't. Well, hey, there could be a sequel. You know, I mean, I don't know if it really sets itself up for one necessarily, right? But they can definitely do one, right? I don't, I don't know what they're gonna do about your boy Joshua, right? Or would they just not bring him back, right? Man, y'all killing it in the comments right now. So I'm just trying to get caught up. Let's see. Sin Havoc says that's why a lot of film productions and companies are literally leaving California. California doesn't have insurance anymore for most commercial companies slash businesses. Yeah, yo, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. I was just talking to the homie the other day, and I was like, man, it's like we live in Night City, from Cyberpunk, but hopefully we can get that situation rectified, and we'll get some more production companies back out here, right? Got some people need to start wisening up. Bad Dan said, did not expect AI to be portrayed as good guys. Yeah, man, but look, speaking about the whole I robot thing, right? Um, not saying that the robots were portrayed as good guys per se, but it's like, were they? Right? And it's the same thing here. It's just kind of just showing that in some of these situations we could possibly be end up, sharing some of these same struggles, right? They did a very good job of humanizing the AI perspective, right? I can definitely say that. You know, Sin Havoc says, I don't think it's CSJL. Nah, I'm just saying, like, because some people take what I be saying and they'll be like, oh my God, like, but you said that this was dope too. So that means that this means that, I mean, it's the same as that, and they be saying crazy stuff. So I got to clarify myself. But Dan said, iRobot had AI more of the bad guys, whereas this one has humans as the bad guys. Man, it ain't even just humans. I'm gonna get to that in a second. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get to that in 1 second. But it wasn't just humans that was the bad guys. You're saying everything. John David Washington was great in Tenet. I agree, bro. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I think Tenet is easily Christopher Nolan's like most slept on movie. That movie is fantastic. Every time I watch it, it gets better and better. And like it just demands you watch it like multiple times. It just really does. And every time I watch it, I pick up on something different. And I really enjoy John David Washington as the protagonist. So sue me, you know, right? And he said he just needs to build his own film resume. I agree, right? I agree. Yeah, right. And just in Havoc's in there cooking. Nathan said in this movie AI was the real human and human was the real AI. Man, look, they did a great job of humanizing it, right? And it did some surprising things, right? Like I really wasn't expecting the the child to be his daughter, right? I mean, even though I in hindsight I kind of should have been thinking that, I really wasn't, and when that revelation kind of came, or when it started getting closer to it being revealed, I was like, man, like this is actually pretty surprising. I didn't think that it was going to go there, and I want to credit the trailers for that, right? Because the trailers didn't give away uh, too much in this film at all. And I think that that is one of the things that really helped it for me because going in, I didn't really know what to expect. And I was just in there ready to engage with whatever the film kind of had to offer. And I had a good time. I had a good time watching it. I felt that the story worked for the most part. The performances were solid. Uh, man, I'm a sucker for this dude. Man, this dude Ken Watanabe, like, if you want to get Skywalker hyped about a movie coming out, tell me that this dude is gonna be in there and let me start hearing some dialogue, right? And I'm sold. I'm sold. I literally still be quoting that whole "let them fight" line just randomly sometimes. Let them fight. Like it's like one of the greatest lines in movie history, bro. yeah, so Ken Watanabe is great as a almost like a robot samurai, almost like that's just what he felt like to me, like an actual AI samurai. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the last samurai, right? Exactly. Look at that. Legend. Nah, Ken's a legend, yo. Ken is a legend, and he did a wonderful job in this film as he always does. And I'm glad that they can, like, if there is a sequel, right, that they can probably continue on with his character as well, because I would like to see what happens with him, and the response from uh the world, right, and from the West, right, to this new dawn of AI, right, where they're gonna try to take their place side by side. It's like, do you know what we will do with you when we win this war? Nothing. He was like, we ain't gonna do nothing to y'all, bruh. Oh my goodness. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, in terms of the child actress, I can't remember how you pronounce her name. She did a great job as well, as right? A lot of times child actors can obviously be annoying, right? Or not really come through on screen the way that the director might have envisioned, right? So whenever you get uh, a performance from a child actor that is as solid as this, I do think it is important to highlight that, because if it wasn't like without her performance, I think that the movie could have really fallen a lot more flat than it did. Like if you did not care about her character or was not invested in what she had going on. And playing kind of like a robot as a child, and still kind of being able to let some of those emotions come through. I do think that that's a bit tough, and I liked her character quite a bit. Got the homie Bad Dan saying that he got to bounce. All good, Bad Dan. We already know what's up, right? I'll hopefully be streaming tomorrow a little earlier, right? Talking about that Ahsoka season, right? I'm gonna be talking some Star Wars for the homie Bad Dan, right? Can't wait to do that. But yeah, it's much love, homie, right? Yeah. And matter of fact, let me move on to the next topic because I gotta start sliding out of here in a bit too. Let me get to what didn't work for me, right? I will say this, and on one hand, I do think that it's kind of like it's kind of getting to the point where it's our turn, right? Because we've um a lot of films, right, we might have had a lot of these cliches about the evil Germans or the Russians, right, or the Middle Easterners or whatever, right? But yeah, in terms of it when I saw that this was pretty much not even just a situation like where I think it was Bad Dan said that the humans were bad, when it was more just like a dead set, like, yo, this is like America that is at fault. I was just kind of like, damn, like here we go again with this, uh, because I've kind of been seeing this a lot in the films nowadays, right? But I will say though, you know, beyond that, and a couple of like, as I was stating earlier, with the way that this film felt like it was a pretty big budget film, for the most part. There was a couple of scenes where you could kind of notice like, hey, they were probably trying to hide some of the VFX or something, by just kind of like um, having the background be kind of like blurred out, and it just kind of looked a little funny. But that only happened like probably like twice throughout the entire movie. And I think that there was a lot more things that worked for this film, in my opinion, rather than what didn't. Outside of a few little nitpicks, right? With kind of me being over the whole, yeah, uh, America bad thing. They're the ones that are trying to just, and it was just like it was kind of blatant, and they was like really driving it home. And I was just like, man, like, can we get some redeeming qualities like at all, please? I'm like, can we not purposely just show like blatant disregard for human life at every turn? You know what I'm saying? Like, can we just get a couple of like, little, hey, good job, buddy, but nah. Hey, for a lot of people, that's just not the way that that's just not the way that they see us to be. You know what I'm saying? So I do understand that, but at the same time, that was a little tough for me. But outside of that, I didn't really have many problems with this film at all. I really had a great time. Uh, I wasn't in there checking my watch, right? Not at all. Not at all. And I'm probably going to go check it out again, honestly, which is something that, I don't do with every film. Definitely not. But let me get on to my final thoughts, because I do got to get on out of here. Like I said, I am going to be streaming tomorrow. We got some great content coming up for you guys. I just want to kind of get this one out the way. But yeah, final thoughts, yo. Gemma Chan, she was great as well, as Maya, right? I felt that her chemistry with John David Washington was very strong. I really felt that they were a couple, and I'm glad that they got their little moment, for them to be together again right before the Nomad exploded, right? Because um with the whole line earlier, uh, about heaven, and whether or not him and Alfie were going to be able to go, um that place in the sky, right, where good people get to go. And you know she kind of says, oh well, we both can't go because you're not good and I'm not a person. And at the end of the movie, he ends up there, and he has Maya there, but it's like Maya in another, what they call it, the a simulant body, is right. He actually had her in a the simulant body, and so it's kind of like, was she a person? So but it just didn't matter in that moment, right? So I thought that that was done very well. Um, you know, the the comeuppance that some of the characters got, uh, I think that that was pretty dope as well. Y'all know I'm a sucker for some comeuppance, right? When when I don't like you as a character, like in your actions rather, and I've been just sitting there just like, oh my God, like you really gonna do that, right? At every turn. Yeah, I love when the toll comes due at the end of the movie. Usually, right? Yeah. Shan Havoc says the hatred for the U.S. from the rest of the world is only going to get more insane. Art imitates life, like reality. Hey, I'm telling you, yo. Yeah, it's all good. Mama Bear about missing some of the Ahsoka stream. It's all gravy. Yeah, Shan Havoc says Gemma Chan from Eternals slash Captain Marvel and Crazy Rich Asians. Good actress. Yes, she's a great actress. I do remember her in Eternals. Um, I think that, yeah, her as Maya, that was something else that I didn't think was coming, was the whole she is Nirmata thing, right? That was something else that I thought was done pretty dope because I didn't see a lot of this stuff coming. I really didn't. I really didn't see her being Nirmata, and that was more or less because of like the timeline. I just would have thought that the Nirmata character would have been a bunch older, but it made sense when they explained like why it was her. And yeah, so I really didn't see that coming. And since I didn't see that coming, I definitely didn't see the whole robot being the child being his daughter thing. Um, and the trailers did a great job of hiding all this stuff. Like I went to this movie um, being very fresh, even though I had seen all of the marketing. So they did a fantastic job in that regard. We got the homie Qatar pouring in here. What's going on, Qatar? We got Sean Franklin. What's going on? Hope y'all having a great evening. Right? We about to start wrapping up in the set because it's kind of late and I ain't gonna keep y'all up all night. We were just trying to talk about this film real quick, and trying to get back into the swing of things. Uh, John David Washington, man, I really want this dude to keep doing action movies. I think that there's been a lot of there's been a lot of like just there's been a lot of dirt put on this man's name ever since Tenet, man, and I'm just like I feel like this is the perfect kind of movie to start building that resume outside of that film because I don't know. It was just a lot of hate kind of thrown his way, and I don't think that he deserved it at all. Right? Sean Franklin said, "Have you played Mortal Kombat One?" Yo, I have the game. I started the story and I played it very briefly, but no, I haven't been able to like really dive in. Haven't haven't been able to really dive in, right? And but I'm really looking forward to pretty soon. I have been diving into that cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, and actually, I got a really uh yeah, I'll talk about that later. I got a really dope idea about a video that I want to do coming to y'all pretty soon. Just in having said no Snyder cut stream tonight. Nah, no 4 hour streams, bro. Right, but we will be back, man. You know, it just seems like every time that I start ramping back up to start doing something, I end up in sick or like my work schedule changed. It's just been so crazy lately, but we about to be back on it soon. 100%. Mama Bear says, normally I wouldn't complain if you kept me up, but I do want you. Hey, yeah, I got to get a little rest, right? You got to get a little rest. We got Nathan saying for a creator too, it would be crazy if they have a copy of John's character. Yeah, I just don't see. That's what I was saying earlier. I don't see how they would have the copy. Like I don't see how, because he didn't have one of those same things that Maya had. I don't think, right? But man, yeah. Wrapping up. All you guys should go see this film. I really liked it. There wasn't much that didn't really work for me. I had a great time with it. And I think that, we need more stuff like this in cinemas and in theaters, and people should be engaging with it because everything can't be these big blockbusters, yo. And stuff like this it shows that they can do these things with a modest budget sometimes and still kind of get those same results. So thank y'all for coming through. All right. It's your boy Scott. I'll be rocking back with y'all tomorrow with a double header. Y'all have a great day. Enjoy y'all evening. I'm gonna catch y'all next time. Peace.